Breaking news from inside the Senate probe on Donald Trump's election lies campaign, working with the Justice Department to overturn his loss. This is brand new. I mentioned this early in the hour. Now we have it. B.J. Pack was the top federal prosecutor in the Trump administration in Georgia. Today, he testified behind closed doors. That's why these probes matter. We're told it was about 3 hours, and investigators learning he was forced to resign. This was 2 days after Trump's infamous and possibly illegal secret call with the top elections official in Georgia trying to find votes that would effectively steal the race for Trump. Now, in the new testimony, we're learning the resignation came because DOJ officials warned Trump intended to fire him for refusing to sign on to a lie that, quote, widespread voter fraud had been found in Georgia. Pack telling investigators Trump had been dismayed that he'd investigate allegations of voter fraud and did not find evidence to support them. This is a big one, and we're joined now by former federal prosecutor Paul Butler. Paul, it is only through independent oversight and Congress's role that we're learning about this. This person, just like you as a prosecutor, probably had very strict rules while he was in government. What are we learning here, and does this add to evidence that Donald Trump was trying to commit a crime in overturning the race?
It absolutely does. Trump called Pack a never-Trumper, but Pack was actually a conservative state representative in Georgia before Donald Trump appointed him to be the head federal prosecutor in Georgia. And as U.S. attorney, he actually did investigate the Georgia election and found no evidence of widespread fraud. He told Trump's people that the election had also been investigated by the FBI and Georgia state officials, and nobody found fraud. Why, Ari? Because there was no fraud.
Right. And when you take it together, you have what looks a lot more like a plot, to use the English word, or potentially a conspiracy, to use the legal one. Our colleague Rachel Maddow was all over this at the time. I want to play a little bit. This was her putting some of the pieces together from what we publicly knew then. Today's report would definitely confirm further some of what she was questioning. Take a look from at the time.
The president sort of randomly, sort of parenthetically, throws out a complaint that, in his words, a U.S. attorney, a federal prosecutor in Georgia, who he himself appointed, is somehow a never-Trumper. That was 2 days ago. Now, today, suddenly and without explanation, the U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Georgia has just resigned without explanation.
The probe is already revealing information, as I say, out of Congress. Do you think that the Justice Department has a higher obligation here to look at all of this as a potential conspiracy? Because if it was, then maybe there may be valid charges.
Absolutely. The timeline here is key. On January 2nd, Trump called the Georgia Secretary of State and begged him to say that there was fraud in the election. On January 4th, B.J. Pack, the Georgia U.S. attorney, resigned. And now we know it's because Trump was mad that he wouldn't lie about fraud in the election. And 2 days later, Ari, is January 6th. Terrorists stormed the Capitol and tried to stop the certification of the election, fueled by this same lie.
Yeah. And when you put it up that clearly, I think everyone can see how many different levers were being pulled. Over 400 people awaiting trials for what you said happened 2 days later. Whether there will be trials for what happened days earlier of more powerful people is a big question. We'll stay on it. Thanks to Paul Butler.